It's your girl, Professor Cinephile, and today I am going to be talking about A Quiet Place Day One. Now, most folks would consider this a horror film, so we're just going to go ahead and classify it as horror. Sometimes, I don't know, like I watch films like this and I'm not really sure because, like, sure, it has some really nasty creatures or what have you, but is it really horror? I don't know. I think that debate happens, and it happened with Alien and Aliens, like an Alien Resurrection. People were calling it horror, and I was like, I don't know. I just saw it as kind of sci-fi-ish, but it does have scary moments, so we'll just call it a horror film. Spoiler alert, you know how we do. I am going to be talking about some things in this film that, might ruin it for you. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to pause and then come right back. Quiet Place this is the third installment of the Quiet Place series. We had A Quiet Place 1, we had A Quiet Place 2, and then this is like a prequel to the other films. So in the other films, we are encountering folks who are living and surviving in like a post-apocalyptic world where everyone has to be quiet because there are these aliens that have kind of taken over the planet, and they're really sensitive to sound. And, if you make a sound, they'll come and probably kill you, right? And so we had like two of those shows, but we had two of those films already. And then this is the prequel. And so this is A Quiet Place Day One is supposed to be telling us like this is how it all began, right? Okay. So I'm one of those people, I am loyal to series. If I've seen one or two of them, I'm gonna keep watching them. I have, that's why I've seen all the Fast and Furious films. I just kind of keep going with it. I wasn't sure what to expect with this. Lupita Nyong'o is the one of the principal stars of this. I love her. I love seeing her. Thought this would be something different for her, so I was excited to see that. But I don't know. Like I didn't read any reviews going in because I just kind of wanted to see it playing. But then I started reading some reviews, and I do agree with some of it. I will be honest. I like fell asleep. Okay, listen. I can't even say it was a long day because I did go see this in the afternoon. Maybe because I just finished eating and I got the itis. I don't know. I did fall asleep for a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I didn't miss anything. And that says a lot about this film, right? It has a slower pace, which I like, and it's focused around this woman who is terminally ill, that's played by Lupita, and she's terminally ill, and she is going into New York City for the day with other patients from the hospital that it's like a hospice care, and they're going to a trip to New York for the day, and she agrees to go because she wants to get some pizza. And we learn that she has, a really emotional, fond connection with pizza. So they go into the city. We learn a lot about her, basically that she has to do pain management. So she's got like this patch that she puts on her body that, gives her pain medication. I knew what that was like. My mom had that when she was, at the end of her life, battling cancer as well. So she was in a lot of pain, and so she gets this patch. So we learn about that. She has an emotional support cat, which I think is really interesting because I'm seeing more and more cats appearing in films these days, and I don't know why, but I love it because I love cats. And then she is close with the nurse and has a connection. And so, they go in to the city and they are, just a regular day, like, hey, we're gonna go see a show. And they go and see a show. It's like a puppeteer, and then they meet other folks that are there. And it's really interesting because Jaman Hansu is in the other Quiet Places, and we first meet his character in this one. So that's pretty cool too. I love when they kind of make those connections. So they go and see a show, and then after this, all of a sudden, all hell is breaking loose, and they're hearing explosions. They're seeing like, the bomb airplanes in the sky. They know something is going on because the US military is out, right? Then they're seeing these aliens, and they're like huge, and they're snatching people up and all this kind of stuff. And somehow they realize that it's related to the sound. Like whenever somebody makes a sound, here comes the aliens. And so they learned pretty quickly that, you know, you don't want to make any sound. Now, here's where I fell asleep. I fell asleep a little bit. I'm going to say maybe for like 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20. Okay. But when I woke up, she had encountered this guy, and he's like a British guy, and he's also in New York, and they form a connection, and they like narrowly escape a whole situation with these aliens. Still have the cat though. The cat is still there. She's going through water, they're swimming, going underwater. Also, the cat is still there. Cat becomes very important in this film. And, you know, she's a poet. And so we're getting, you know, scenes where there's like, she shows herself to be an artistic person. We learn more about her life, and like her dad used to take her to a jazz club, and then they would get pizza. And so that's why she has like this connection. She's terminally ill. She knows she's at the end of her life. She really just wanted to go and get this pizza and have this like memory with her dad. And so they are, you know, they started in Lower Manhattan, they make their way up to Harlem. So anyway, it moves through, they take shelter in a church. There's a scene where he goes and gets her, you know, her medications and stuff like that. Very tender, very caring, willing to risk a lot to help her and this damn cat. The cat is like on this beam, and it's like, I love cats. I do. On my mama, I do. But if these big ass aliens are coming towards me trying to kill me, and it's me or the cat, I'm sorry. Like, okay. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm sorry. So what I don't think that it was, I think if you go into this looking for like all kinds of answers and, oh, you know, things making all this sense, I don't think you're going to get that. It's clear in the first two that these aliens are very sensitive to sound, that they're not really interested in killing humans. They just are so, because they have these exposed ear canals, they are so sensitive to sound that they're just doing everything they can to stop a sound from happening. And they kind of learn later on how to weaponize that. And I imagine if they make another Quiet Place, like the one that would actually come chronologically after part two, that Quiet Place 3 would probably like find ways for them to weaponize their sensitivity to sound. And so we kind of get a little bit of that in this one, but not really much. Like I said, definitely a slower paced, a calmer film. Isn't as much gore. There's a couple of jump scares, but nothing too tough. But we do kind of learn like how they come through in the first few days and pretty much like destroy so much because humans don't know what to do with it. So everybody's kind of like in shock mode. So ultimately, she there's a boat that's leaving Manhattan, the island of Manhattan, and there's a whole bunch of people on it. These things don't like water. They like try to avoid water, and they won't jump into the water to go after these people. So the guy that she's like trekking with or whatever, she wants him to live. She gives him the cat and is like, you know, take care of my cat or whatever. And then she starts making all this noise, like banging in car windows and setting off alarms to get the monsters to come towards her so that they can get the boat away and they can be distracted and he can run and he can go and swim and make his way to the boat. And he does, and they welcome him in. And she knows that she's dying. So this is like her making this sacrifice. But I really did like that there was kind of this really poetic vibe to the whole film. Like she's walking around with headphones and listening to like Nina Simone and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And then, you know, I'll save, I know we do have spoilers or what have you here. I'll save the last part. I won't tell you what happened in case she's, you know, still gonna go do it. But it does have a more poetic vibe to it. It doesn't feel like a horror film to me. It feels like, I mean, there's like sci-fi, maybe sci-fi, maybe, I don't know. Like it doesn't feel scary to me. It didn't feel any of that kind of stuff. It just really was just like, here's what happened. And if you watch like The Purge or what have you, like Purge first, the first Purge or stuff like that, like you kind of see, yeah, I want a background, I want an origin story, I want to figure out how we got here. but I don't necessarily think that A Quiet Place Day One actually gives us all a whole lot. Like, where they come from? Maybe I fell asleep during that part. I don't know, but I'm just like, where they come from? So I don't know. I left still having the same questions before, but I did like I thought Lupita did a great job and being in this role, and I really enjoyed her because they were like she's terminally ill, and so there's a quietness about her, but she's also like really focused, like this is the end of her life and she's determined to do what she needs to do to enjoy her last days on earth. So I liked how she portrayed that. I don't know. I'm gonna give it 3 hearts, 3 purple hearts. It wasn't awful, it's watchable. Yes, I fell asleep. That could have been my own issue, but it's also not great. Like it's not better than the other 2 films, the other 2 Quiet Places. So if you are a person who does like series and you like watching all, go see it. If you saw A Quiet Place 1 and 2, go see it. Why not? But don't expect too much. Like it just it was average. That's all I'm going to say. All right, y'all. Thank you. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button and make sure that you are following along and you'll get more notifications when I produce more. And shout out to everybody who has been watching and supporting. I really love it. Thank you for being here, and I'll see y'all next time.